Yeah, we most certainly can.
All right. What up, y'all? We are back. This is the Let's Have a Real Conversation podcast. I am JD, and I'm here with
Dashing D.
All right. And I kind of wish the D in my name stood for Daystar. Yo, I did not know Tory Lane's name was Daystar. You knew that?
Yes, I knew that.
Why did he change his name?
I understand where you're going with this. I get it, but
Everything would be Daystar. It would be.
I mean, it sounds like
The first album would have been called Daystar. Yeah.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like a rental car company to me.
It could be anything. It's like McDonald's. It could be anything.
Right.
McDonald's could have been anything.
But if a Daystar shoots women, then what?
Well,
What do we
I'm
say
just
about
talking
that?
about the name.
I
We'll get to that in a
what's
second.
in
But
a
that was the
name?
first thing. Hey, that's a good question. What's in a name?
Yeah.
Whose song is that?
That's from Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, there's a song called What's in a Name. I can't remember right now.
Okay, well.
Anyway.
For another time.
Yeah, yo, as soon as the interview started, because we got to talk about the interview, y'all. So as soon as the interview started, they're like, oh, yeah. Well, it's not as soon as it started. But in the middle of telling us the quote-unquote background, giving context to the viewers of CBS News who clearly don't know shit about this shit.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, rapper Tory Lane's real name is Daystar. Daystar? What? I didn't know that. All right.
What did you say his name was?
Right. I wouldn't. Yo.
No, I knew.
If the D in JD stood for Daystar?
That's what you wanted to stand for?
No. But I'm just saying if it did, everything would be Daystar.
Everything would be Daystar. And I understand why you're saying that again. What is in a name sometimes?
Yo.
Sometimes all you need is a name. I mean.
Yeah.
Look at the movie The Founder.
That's what I'm saying.
It was all about the name. McDonald's.
Right.
I mean, the dude.
That's my scene. He's in the bathroom. He's like, you still don't get it.
Yeah.
He's like, nobody wanted to be Croc.
Right.
Croc? Ah, it's got that Slavish stain on it. But McDonald's could be anything.
The dudes who were McDonald's didn't even think of it. They didn't even go, hey, our name? Gold.
Right.
Didn't.
And Daystar?
Didn't.
Oh! What I would do with Daystar.
And now McDonald's equals billions and billions of dollars.
Billions.
Crazy.
A billy.
Now, I don't think Daystar is going to amount to that. Now, I could be talking about the name. I could be talking about the person. Who knows?
Who knows?
I will not confirm or deny either of those things. But what I will say is I don't think that it will be like McDonald's.
Right.
And that's fine. That's fine. It's fine.
Sometimes people just don't appreciate what they have.
Right. And then they go do some wild shit and lose it all. Or, well, no, because you know what? Some people don't lose everything.
Well,
some people don't lose everything.
Right. I'm going to grab my specs because I have notes.
Grab your specs. So what we're talking about, if you don't know what we're talking about, there was an interview. Gayle King on CBS Morning interviewed Meg Thee Stallion to try to get to the bottom of what happened 2 years ago.
Is that
where I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming because this is the first interview. This is the first interview Meg has done since all of this happened back in 2020, July 2020, where she alleges that she was shot by Tory Lanez after coming home from a party at Kylie Jenner's house.
Must be nice.
So there are a lot of, I don't want to say a lot. There are some things about the story that I think people have had a hard time with. Things that don't seem to add up. Some things were said when it initially happened, and then the story changed because initially Meg did not say that she was shot. Initially, she said that she hurt her foot on glass.
Right.
Now, there are medical reports to confirm that there were pieces of bullet fragments
which they show in the interview.
in her foot. So
They say that some were unable to be removed, and she still has bullet fragments in her foot.
So she was shot in her foot.
Yeah.
That is what that confirms. As far as the events of that night and what happened and how it happened, I think that there has been a lot of confusion. And I think that, I mean, we could just call it what it is. A lot of people have been reluctant to fully endorse what is being said about that night because some things just don't make sense. And unfortunately that happens, right? With, you know, in real life, things happen. We're not,
right.
Especially think about before social media and think about before everything was on camera and everything was digitized. I mean, at some point shit used to happen and it was
hearsay. Your word against mine.
Yeah. So I am of the mindset that if someone says very forcefully and strongly that they've been shot by another person and they're identifying their shooter, that we have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
However, I, much like a lot of other people, have heard everything that has been put out in the media, and I do have questions.
Right.
You know, it's a little confusing, and I think it's probably always going to be confusing to us. I don't think we're ever going to get to the bottom of it. I don't know that, I've said this to you off the pod, that I don't know that this will ever really see an actual trial. They've been pushing back the date.
Right.
I don't know that they're actually thinking. I think they're buying time to figure out how they can get it dismissed.
Okay.
And once they do that, it's going to be I don't think he's going to be charged with anything. I don't see it happening. I just feel like there's too much nuance to it. Now, that doesn't mean, as we said when we talked about sexual assault and harassment and things like that in our first episode.
It was our second.
Or our second episode. That doesn't
It was our third episode, second episode on camera.
Got it. It doesn't mean that the thing that someone's saying happened didn't happen. It just means that we can't really figure out how it happened. And I think the one big thing that I'm sure we'll get to is that there was also confusion about whether she saw her shooter or not. This interview seems to confirm that she saw him. She said she saw Tory hanging out of the car.
She said, it's in my notes here. Let me see.
I just, it's just so stressful. Honestly, this whole thing has been stressful.
She said he was standing up over the window shooting. Right. Shouting, "Dance, bitch, dance."
Which is disgusting. But you have something to say?
Not yet.
You can please.
About dance, bitch, dance?
You chose that specific thing.
Well, the reason I chose that is because she is now saying that he was standing up over the window.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, what does that mean?
See, here's what I thought it meant, and maybe I thought about getting up and demonstrating, but I'm not gonna do that.
You want to demonstrate dance, bitch, dance?
I'm not wearing shoes. I'm not gonna do that. But what I assumed it meant is when you know when you reach out of a car window and you hang over it and you can kind of stand up on the edge by the bottom of the door. Mm-hmm. That is what I assumed she meant.
Okay.
Not like, if there's a sunroof, you would hang out of the top. Think about it like you're not hanging out at the top. You're hanging out in the actual side window. That's what I thought. I feel like I've seen people do that before. Not very often, but people do it or have done it. I mean, when you're a kid and do all kinds of stuff. Oh, hey, what's up? You
or
know,
when you're intoxicated.
especially, let's be honest, Black people, we get excited when we see each other, and it's
Right.
like, hey,
Right.
hanging out the window a little bit. I could see. That's what I assumed it meant. I don't know. I didn't talk to Meg.
Well,
I didn't talk to Meg. I don't know. That's what I assumed it meant. What did you think it meant? Or you just didn't know?
I didn't know what it meant, and
Okay.
it seems that from the original story to now, the position of the shooter has changed in the story, and I just thought that was interesting. I thought it was weird, and I've never heard anyone ever say standing up over the window. Now, if you said he was standing in front of the window on the passenger side, he was standing outside the car on the passenger side, some of those things make more sense to me. But I don't know what standing up over the window means.
That's why I'm assuming he stayed in the car and hung out the window.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming happened. And
that was just a question for me. I'm not saying I believe her or don't believe her. I'm just trying to
this
figure out what does that mean.
We are not accusing anybody of doing anything. We are simply laying out the facts and asking a couple questions. That's it. All of this is alleged because we really don't know. We were not there. There's only footage which they showed in the interview. There's only footage of her being injured and walking around outside of the car afterwards. We have not seen any footage of her being outside of the car when the initial thing happened.
Right. You want to start with your notes or mine?
Oh, okay. I know we have a lot. I know I paused a little bit because I was like, I don't even know where to go next with this. Because this stresses me out.
I already got two of my notes out. They start and standing up over the window.
This stresses me out. I don't like to... I just like to let the things play out the way they're going to play out.
I think this whole shit is a mess. And
it's a big mess.
It's a shame that we have to even discuss this still 2 years later.
2 years later. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. Okay, here was the thing that confused me. Or rather, I just was trying to figure out why this is. So she's being interviewed, right, by Gayle, and she references the two people in the back seat, and she also references this man, but she doesn't specifically say names or who they were, because from what we know, it was her, Tori, her friend Kelsey, and Tori's security person in the car. Right?
So they say it was Megan Thee Stallion in the car, ex-friend Kelsey, which is important to say.
Right, they're no longer friends.
Because they were at that time allegedly best friends.
Right.
And now they are no longer friends at all. And so it was...
I don't think they were best friends. Never mind. That's not important. It's not important. I'm just saying, I mean, best friends don't just go away tomorrow like that. Okay. You gotta reevaluate your
Nas
friends.
once said, a thug changes, and love changes, and best friends become strangers.
I believe that's true. I just don't know how quickly that happens.
Well, I'll leave that there. But, yes, in the car, they say in the interview, Megan Thee Stallion says in the car was security / driver of Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion, ex-best friend Kelsey, and Tory Lanez.
So
4 people in the vehicle.
Wait. See, I didn't know that he was also the driver. So does that mean he was driving the car?
That has not been said.
Because even in the interview, I noticed that they talk about Kelsey, they talk about Tori, they talk about Meg, but they do not talk about the security guy. That man is the smoking gun, okay? No pun intended. Maybe I need to find a better way to say that.
That was good.
That man is the key to all of this. Where is he? Who is he? And how can we reach him? How can we get him on the line? Because he is the one who knows what really happened that night. Kelsey ain't talking. Tori's lawyer said, we'll have our day in court. That was at the end of the interview. That's what was said. Nobody said, "Hey, we tried to reach out to security/driver." And why is it that this man is he's just vanished?
Well,
Does anyone know who he is?
Somebody knows, but I wouldn't tell you. If I knew who it was, I wouldn't publish it. So if he is Tory's guard/driver,
He's been gagged.
he's not allowed to talk.
Right, but I just feel like they are like working overtime to protect this person. We don't know anything about him.
Some people feel that about Kelsey. That's why Kelsey's lawyer said our client hasn't been paid by either party.
That don't mean she wasn't paid by a third party.
I hear that. Well, what are they?
let me look for something to distract myself.
That was funny. Yeah, so she says the two people in the back seat were having an argument, which insinuates
Tory and Kelsey. Okay.
Which puts her in the front seat.
With the driver?
With the driver. But you see, this is where it gets interesting because
weird.
Anybody could have been driving that car.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Meg could have been driving.
I always assumed Tory was driving.
See, I don't know why. I assumed the opposite. I assumed the women were in the back, and Tory was up front with security/driver.
Which, as we're talking, that makes the most sense to me, because if it was me and my friend, and the guy that I'm dating, or
we'll get to it.
Well, we don't know who's me and my friend and my other friend, because we'll get to that.
If it's you and your best friend, let's go with this story at the time.
Me and my best friends, because according to Meg, he was her best friend. We're the three best friends that anyone could ever have. No?
Yep. Hangover.
Yeah. So if it was me and my two best friends, and one of them is a guy and one of them is a girl, then I'm going to say that me and her are going to sit in the back and he would sit in the front, because that's just, I know people don't like to talk about the gender roles or whatever, but in my world, that's what makes the most sense. We're protected in the back seat by the men in the front. That's the way, I'm not saying everybody would. I'm just saying if it were me, I wouldn't go to the front seat to sit with the security guy.
Unless I'm sure he's lovely. Felt you needed to be secure
away, or unless you felt you needed to be away from the other two people. Correct. Which is why all of this is confusing, because
that's your best friend and your other best friend.
Yes,
that's my best friend. Yeah, that's my
best friend. That's my best friend. Go best friend. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I would like to know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she was being coached a little bit in that interview? Because Gail at one point asked her. Yeah. Gail at one point asked her, and I had to put this in my notes. Gail said, "Were you afraid for your life in that moment?"
And she said, "Oh yeah, no, she didn't say it like that, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't cancel us before we get our deal. Let us know if you're interested in sponsoring us.
You know what I'm saying?
Pay us. Pay us. We're cute. Look. And we pod.
We pod.
So, yeah, I think she was being coached. I think that's why people do those interviews, though. There are prepared questions. They know what's going to be asked of them most of the time.
Right.
Sometimes the journalist will throw a curveball in there.
Throw a little something that you wasn't ready for.
For the most part, the line of questioning is cleared, especially with something this high profile and something this touchy.
Right.
I'm sure that Meg knew what the questions were before she got there, but also, so yes, she was probably coached behind the scenes, but also Gail was guiding the interview to, listen, for better or for worse, this interview was to sway public opinion. I don't know how, and I shouldn't say I don't know. There are a lot of people who don't believe this even happened.
Right.
Like they don't believe that Tory did it. They don't believe her. They don't. I think that this was a way to kind of I don't want to say the wrong thing, but this was the way to, I guess, get people to see her perspective of
But
what's
what
happening.
people?
The public.
Yeah, but let's be more specific.
Even though she said
because
specifically
CBS Morning is not Drink Champs, is not.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna give a bunch of names because they ain't pay us, but it's not any urban platform.
But she's Meg Thee Stallion. She's a huge star. She's the TikTok dance viral girl. She's everywhere. She's on every award show. She's doing everything. We just said she did Disney's Biggest Songs remix.
Which is why she could have sat with anyone she wanted.
But anyone she wanted. But what you want when you're a big fish like that, or what the big fish behind you wants, is to make sure everybody knows. Because even though she is the victim here, I could see how certain brands, I'm even shocked that Disney wanted to be associated with it, whether she was the victim or not.
Wow.
I'm shocked.
That's a big money move. That's what that
is. It's a big money move, but still, Disney has a brand to protect. Disney is very, very specific about the way what their content aligns with. So that to me was shocking. Great for her, but really shocking. And so I'm just thinking to myself that people are probably still asking questions behind the scenes.
Yeah.
These brands are probably like, this shooting thing, do we need to be worried about this?
Okay.
Especially every time something new develops, because it dies down. Like, okay, this week, we're probably not talking about it as much as we were talking about it last week. And for the next couple of months, we probably won't hear about it until whenever their next trial date is. But then it stirs right back up again. Because
the two of them won't shut the fuck up.
And they won't shut the fuck up.
I mean, we're going to be honest. When it first happened, she was crying on IG Live all the time and saying all of these different things. And then Tory has put out a bunch of statements and music, mostly music. And then they had a tweet exchange recently, which Gayle tried to flip at the end of the interview, and I didn't like that.
What did Gayle? I don't remember.
Gayle said at the end of the interview, they show all the statements that were said to CBS by people's attorneys. And then Gayle says that during a pretrial hearing, Tory Lanez was locked up for violating an order and was released on bail. But that insinuated that it was something outside of a tweet. They didn't give any context of what the violation was.
That's true.
So for those who don't know, Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion had an exchange on Twitter.
Yeah.
Which it seems like she baited him. Because she was tweeting and he responded to her. In his response, he said the word "you," which means that he publicly addressed Meg Thee Stallion,
directly,
which he was not allowed to do according to a court order.
Right.
That's what he got locked up for. He got locked up for a tweet, which I thought of talking about on this pod when it happened, but we said we weren't going to because it was mess. But we also didn't know all of this shit was going to happen.
We didn't know there was going to be an interview.
And so that is what he got locked up for.
Right.
He got locked up for addressing her publicly in a tweet. And in the interview, they didn't give any context. They just said at the end, Gayle said specifically at the end, in a pretrial hearing, Tory Lanez was arrested for violating a court order. Yeah, but you didn't say it was a tweet or any of that.
And it was
and you didn't say that she started saying things to him and this was a response.
Right. But again,
he fucked up. He fell for the bait.
He did.
But
he did. And we knew who this
paints a very different picture
for.
Right. And that's why I asked that question. Why CBS Morning? Why Gayle King? Because she can go anywhere she wants.
But I also, and these days, since Oprah has stepped aside, if you want to go to anybody, you're going to go to Gayle. Gayle is like, especially when it comes to entertainment, Gayle has become
the go-to person.
The go-to person.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. any and everybody cannot get Gayle King. Like, if I want to go to Gayle King right now, it's not going to happen.
No, of course not.
And so you have
I
to
mean,
be
you know,
a person of a certain
We
magnitude.
like you and everything over here, but
I'm not that fly. I'm not in that tier.
Not gonna happen.
No. And so that's what
Not
I'm
yet.
saying. When you go to Gayle King, you have to be in a certain category to be even be able to go there.
Yeah.
And so that's why I ask, who was this for?
I mean,
you said it. You said the masses.
I think
to
it was
get
for the
everyone
masses.
to see it.
I think it was for the masses. I think if we start getting really technical on things that maybe people don't normally consider, CBS is connected to. CBS falls under the Paramount umbrella, which is connected to all things entertainment.
Right.
So it all makes sense. It all gets wrapped up and intertwined, whether it looks like it does or not. It's all connected.
Right.
And so again, who is the big conglomerate going to back and support
another big conglomerate?
Yeah.
So and that's why I asked the question to provoke that thought.
I guess.
Go ahead.
What? Go ahead. Let me collect my thoughts for a second.
So just something funny.
Mm-hmm.
When she was telling the story and she was like, Tori said, "I'll give y'all $1 million if y'all shut up." She was like, "Help me if you care." So something I thought was funny is after she said "help me," she did like this gesture. I'm not gonna mimic it, but she did a really funny gesture after she said "help me." Did you peep it?
No, I did not. Oh, I did not. You'll have to show me later because something.
If y'all go back, it was just funny.
We should not be.
She was like, "Help!" She was like, "Why are you offering me money right now? Help me!"
Oh yeah, she did do that.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
I remember she did do that.
It was like the what the fuck.
Right. Like,
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole. So now something I thought was not cool was why the fuck you got to bring up George Floyd?
I didn't like that either.
Yo, let that man rest.
I didn't like that either.
His name has been in enough stuff. I'm not even gonna say whether I agree or not with everything that's been brought up in, but you got to bring up George Floyd.
I understand.
The cops kill mad people.
Right. And I understand why. Well, that was the one that made national news. That was the one that started putting things in motion in this country that had not been in motion. So I understand that. And whether we like it or not, he will continue to be referenced for it. You can keep making faces at me all you want. He will continue to be referenced. It makes me feel weird in the pit of my stomach when it happens, but he will continue to be referenced because of the context of it all. I'm not saying I agreed with it. I did not agree with it because, again, as we're saying, we know that she's been coached and we know whatever, but so it's like, did we need to do that? Because she could have said something else. She could have said, we were in the middle of this resurgence of Black Lives Matter. She could have said,
a plethora of things.
Back in 2020, we tensions were heightened because of violence from police. Something she could have said that. I didn't like the name drop. I didn't think that was
very intentional. And
it was what is the word? Duplicitous. Yes. It was duplicitous. But I also, we're having this conversation, and again, we've said we're not accusing her of anything. We're not accusing Tori of anything. We're simply laying out what we saw and asking questions about it. But this kind of sparked another conversation.
Okay.
About what do victims, if anything, owe? Because it becomes a conversation of what is she allowed to do as a victim? What is within her rights, so to speak, as a victim? What is she allowed to say or not say? Or are there rules against that? Because it even ended up sparking a conversation on another podcast where I'm sure you guys have maybe heard of it. I mean, if you listen or watch this podcast, then I would imagine you're tapped into these sort of things. We're not going to talk about which podcast it was. You can look for it. But another case was brought up. And I was even listening to another podcast where they said, okay, well, is there supposed to be a line for victims? Are victims supposed to not be able to say what they have to say? Is there a statute of limitations on it? Like, is there at some point they have to stop talking about it? Because I think people were concerned that Tory did not get to speak his side, but Meg is getting to speak hers. With the protective order that's in place, he cannot speak on it, or speak directly to her, as you said. She can speak freely wherever she goes and doing whatever she does. Personally, I feel like if she is the victim, then it is what it is. If she's going to do interviews, or she's going to do this, or she's going to do that, then that's something that everybody just has to suck up, because she is dealing with this however it is she has decided to deal with it, however her team has decided to deal with it, and that's that. And I don't think that if we're saying that we're going to believe her, at least until it's proven otherwise, then are we supposed to somehow come to Tory's aid or protect Tory in some way? Or I think that I understand that people get accused, black men specifically, also get accused of things sometimes that they have not done, but we're not there yet. We haven't gotten to a place in this whole situation where anyone can say that what she's saying is, without a shadow of a doubt, not true.
Okay.
All we have is her word and what she's laid out for us and the facts that we've seen.
Right.
So, yeah, it brought up this conversation, and I think it's an interesting conversation to have. I don't know how deep we're going to go into that, but I just kind of wanted to bring that up because there's a lot of like, oh, well, she should keep her mouth shut and she should do this. But should she? If a man shot her, should she?
They can. The problem is that they've both done a lot.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years, he's put out several songs. He's put out albums. She's done things publicly. Like I said in the beginning, she was on IG Live a lot, crying, responding to people. And I'm not saying what either one of them did was right or wrong. I'm just saying that they've both done a lot. And so that's where it becomes challenging, because this has to go to court at some point.
Right.
And so for whatever reason, it's being prolonged. And that's fine. There could be a lot of reasons why it's being prolonged. But until everything happens in court, it's not going to be over. But the two of them doing a lot of public things, attacking each other, subbing each other, playing media games and media tricks, all of this just makes it a bigger public mess.
Right.
And that's what makes it tricky, because that's, I think, where these conversations came from. If she had said nothing for this whole time and then did an interview, I don't think anyone would be complaining. If he didn't do a bunch of wild shit, then he probably wouldn't even been locked up for a tweet.
Right.
And so, I mean, he didn't do any time, whatever. They posted
he was
bail,
out in a few hours.
Yeah, he was out. But the point is, they've both done so much publicly that it's just become a huge ass mess.
It is a mess.
And that's the thing. Victims, yes, to answer the question, victims are allowed to speak. Victims have the right to speak. I don't think that should be held against anyone. But it kind of becomes a question of, when is enough enough? And for me, that's the question for both of them. It's like, y'all have been doing the most. At what point do y'all shut the fuck up and just let this go to court?
And here's the thing, for what it's worth, I do believe that they legally, because they're public figures, I wish that the judge had said nothing that happens in here or nothing that happened then should be discussed outside of this courtroom. I wish that had happened, because I also think that it maintains the integrity of the case. Yeah. Because again, there's in the court of public opinion, It's fair game. We're allowed as the viewing public to have an opinion, to decide what we think is going on, because all we have is what we have, and so we're going to try to assess and figure things out on our own.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that also means that some people are going to have doubts. Some people are going to say some people are going to blindly support Tory just because they don't like her, and or whatever it is, and vice versa. So I don't think that anyone should have said anything since that night. I think that I wish that they had both been counseled to not say anything. I'm not trying to say that she as a victim should have been gagged. What I'm trying to say is, because of the legal nature of this case, it's with the courts.
Right.
I think it's different if it never went to court, but the district attorney feels that it's a case that needs to be tried. And so here we are. And at that point, then they tried to set boundaries and guidelines, but I feel like they didn't do a very good job at doing that, because then we wake up to a bunch of shade room. You know how Shade Room likes to chronologically show us what's going on.
Yeah. And
I don't know. It just stresses me out, because obviously in a perfect world, none of this would have ever happened. And, we'd be able to continue to support Meg, and we'd be able to continue to listen to Chick's tape or whatever Tory does. And I don't know. It's all icky to me, honestly.
Right.
I hope that there is clarity, and I hope that, whatever really happened, people find peace with it. But I don't know. I don't know that anybody comes out satisfied at the end of this, just because, one, a fucked up thing happened that cannot be taken back.
Right.
And two, because it's just so messy that I could see them walking into court one day and being like, we don't fucking know.
Right.
And if that happens, that's it. There's no, nobody's going to jail. Nobody's going to be on probation. It's just going to be, maybe they maintain the restraining order.
Right. Well, I would like to say a couple things.
Yes, please.
Number one, that authenticated text message from Kelsey proves absolutely nothing.
No, doesn't.
Trauma bonding is real. She said Tori's mom died, her mom died, and they bonded over that.
Trauma bonding is real.
Trauma bonding is real.
It's absolutely real.
Why Meg Thee Stallion act like she didn't understand the question when niggas asked her?
How could I forget? That's on my list.
Did you have an intimate relationship with Tory Lanez? She said.
What do you mean, sex?
She said like sexual. You don't know what intimate relationship means?
What?
You don't know what intimate relationship means?
I don't want to do
and
this.
Then she said, yes, Megan. Did you have a sexual relationship?
Even Gail was like, girl, you don't know what intimate is? Even though, can we just point out that sex and intimacy, not the same thing? Can be, but not. But anyway.
And then she still didn't answer the question. She said, no, we didn't have a sexual relationship.
I didn't fuck that man. But let me tell you something. There's a world where Tory shoots Meg and Meg still lies about having a sexual relationship with him.
And
there's a world where that could happen. Because think about it, y'all. Now, y'all know I like to get on my little soapbox about men and women sometimes. Think about it. Why would I want to tell people about the nigga who shot me? Why would I want to tell people that I was fucking him? It's embarrassing.
And so I do not believe...
The man I was having sex with shot me. I don't want to tell anyone that information. I don't want to admit that to anyone. I don't want to admit that to anyone. Now, I'm not saying I personally would lie. What I am saying is it would be embarrassing to tell people that the man I was sleeping with, my best friend, who I was with every single day, as she described in the interview, shot me. I'm just saying. So again, I'm not saying that I don't believe that Meg was shot. I'm not saying that I don't believe that Tory shot Meg. What I am saying is I don't believe that they did not have a sexual relationship. I cancel me for saying she lied about that, but I think she lied about that. I don't think she's lying about the other stuff. The other stuff's way too big and way too heavy. But will somebody lie about a penis they don't want to claim? As a woman, I can see it.
You know what I don't believe? Meg said at the end, I can't wait for this to play out in court, or I'd rather this play out in court. That's what she said. I'd rather this play out in court so I don't have to keep saying things and defending myself publicly. That's a fucking lie. You wouldn't have done this interview if you wanted things to play out in court.
I don't know about that.
And I think Tory's lawyers bodied the response.
Oh, they were like, we'll have our day in court.
They said, yeah, we are fully ready to respond in court to the evidence and her inconsistent ass story. I'm not saying they're right or wrong about the inconsistencies or any of that. I'm just saying that was a great response. They knew that shit was going to be put up on the screen.
Yeah, they
was like, oh,
very well.
We got this one. So for that response, I'll give you a 2 little clap.
I hear what you're saying. I don't know if... I do think it's got to be gross to have like hundreds of thousands of people respond to you when you do stuff publicly and have an opinion and then have to sit there. Meg, how old is Meg? Meg's pretty young, right?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know anybody's ages. Before today, I didn't know Ray J was 41.
I always ask people's ages because I think that it makes a difference. Like someone like me, who's an old millennial, I could not look at the comments and I could sleep well at night, right?
Yeah.
I think that the younger generations are not that way. They're like, what did they say about me? What? And so I'm just curious about...
I don't know her age.
Because
you can look it up. I don't know any... I don't focus on this stuff. To me, I didn't even really want to talk about this Meg and Tory thing,
but here we are.
We're reporting on the culture and giving opinions on it, and this is part of it. So here we are. But
it happened when she was 25.
Yeah, I don't do any of that. Like I really didn't know until today that Ray J was 41. I swore Ray J was younger than me because
no,
I did. I mean, I'm wrong. But
you're wrong.
I thought he was younger than me, but anyway.
But yeah, that's the only reason I look it up because I'm like, well, yes, we know that like the social media it has a hold on people.
Sure. What's that got to do with court?
Did you not just hear all the things that I said?
Because she's tired of responding to people
and like reading comments and things like that. It's got to be.
I don't want to sound like some people on other podcasts. But you can turn your phone off. Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you on that. I'm just saying I think that as I said, the younger generations are not that apt to just walking away from their phone or deleting the app.
But she has a whole team.
It doesn't matter. She's a 25-year-old on social media and she's a big star, and she's for the past few years she's been growing in stardom and listen, I don't know. Listen, that's none of my business really, so
I got nothing left.
I don't. We could, we can move on. Speaking of people who got attacked.
Yo, they try to come for Dave!
Dave Chappelle got attacked.
Dave Chappelle was doing a stand-up. He's doing a tour right now. And a man jumped on stage and tackled him. Allegedly, the man had a gun and a knife, but tackled him, which confuses me. Because if I have a gun and a knife, I'm not tackling you. But all we know is there's footage. And that's the other thing. How the fuck is there so much footage when everybody's phones are supposed to be locked up at these things. Dave is the one who started the lock up your phone to see us thing.
Maybe he didn't do it this time.
I don't know. Or that, or maybe people are sneaking in second phones or
Also-
second devices.
So, how do you get weapons in there? There's no metal detectors?
No.
Did he do it in a field like he normally did? I know
No, it was a concert.
They don't have metal detectors?
A lot of them don't.
Really?
There's a lot of venues that don't have metal detectors. We're used to it because we're in New York and New Jersey area. But there's other places where there's no metal detectors.
They're the ones who carry guns.
I'm just telling you.
But New York, New Jersey is not. I mean, I'm sure people carry guns in New York and New Jersey, but it's not like.
I also
Florida
don't know
Texas.
the state. Yeah, I'm about to say I don't know the state. In a lot of states, you're allowed to carry your weapon publicly.
Right.
But whatever. The guy had a gun and a knife. Tackled Dave Chappelle. He got the shit beat out of him. He got taken away. Jamie Foxx ran on stage to try to help. Dave Chappelle made a funny joke. He said you can always count on Jamie Foxx to show up with a sheriff hat whenever there's trouble. And my favorite part is it was LA.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite part is Chris Rock jumped on stage and said, "Wait, was that Will Smith?"
Ha ha!
That was good.
Gotcha.
But I'm glad Dave is good. And attacking comedians is not cool. That's all I'm going to say on that.
It's not.
Because we already gave y'all an hour of the slap heard around the world.
Right. And then gave you 45 minutes of Meghan Tory, which I don't think either of us planned to talk about it for that long.
Well, we had notes, so we knew it was going to be a doozy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, much love to Dave Chappelle, and I hope he's doing well. What else we got? Because we went from 3 topics to a million.
Yep.
So
it's a lot going on in these last 2 weeks. We got the chat.
There's a lot going on.
More news, or we going to music?
I think we're going to music.
All right.
I think we're going to Future.
I never liked you.
I never liked you.
Yo, I just got to give him credit. I don't even listen to Future, truth be told.
I've never listened
if
to
he comes on at a party, cool, whatever. Oh, that's who made that song? All right, cool. But yo, that is an album title. I never liked you.
It's great. I just want to pause for a second to say that there was one more news thing. Ludacris got his bachelor's degree. A Bachelor of Science in Music Management. Good for him.
Music management. Get him, Luda.
Yeah.
I mean, Luda about to shake shit up out here.
He's about to take over the world. Good for him.
Maybe we'll see DTP grow into something much bigger.
Stand up.
You know what I'm saying? That's all right. You have Tourette's.
I don't know why I did that.
She has Tourette's, y'all.
I don't know why I did that.
The truth has come
We
out.
may need to cut that. I gotta think about that. I don't know. I do not know.
Now the fans know you have Tourette's.
I did that. I do though.
Now can y'all imagine what hanging out with her be like?
I do that all day long.
Just be like, can you pass the salt?
Stand up.
Stand up.
I like a human jukebox. But
just walking in crowded areas. Move, bitch. Get out the way.
You ever want to know what JayZ quote relates to
they know.
Anything in life? Yeah. Like, let's not act like I just have I
don't shout them out though. I'll politely tell you. You know what Hov said.
All right.
You just stand up. You just nigga. What the fuck just happened?
Anywho,
and it's not my fault. There's a Hov quote for everything.
We're not doing this.
So
Future's album came out.
I never liked you. Yeah,
I do like that.
I would just put that on every mad color shirts and sell it.
I do like that title.
You don't even need no fly merch.
I do like that title a lot.
It's such a great title. I'm mad I didn't think of it first.
That's a very.
I got to think of a witty title for my next project now.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I just.
All right. Well, I don't listen to Future.
Okay, I heard.
But I did hear some songs because
music.
Someone else played them and I heard it.
Same here. I think it's sounds like it might be a solid album.
I did hear that Valentine's Day record though.
That he put out around Valentine's Day.
It's called The Worst Day or
Yeah,
Worst
The
Day
Worst
Ever,
Day.
something like that. That was interesting.
And Future
as a man. I just wanted to say as a man. I just like fucking around. Go ahead. Your Future review.
I mean, it seems like it's a good album from what I heard.
It's got some slaps, as the kids say.
Slaps. I would, if I cared, I shouldn't say it like that, but I'm an R&B girl. Like I only have so much bandwidth.
But doesn't Future sing?
I don't.
Isn't he one of the melodic rappers?
Yes, he's one of the melodic rappers. No, it sounds good. I wouldn't mind being out and hearing some of the music.
Right. Well, that's the kind of Future. That's the kind of music Future makes, no? I don't know what the fuck my mouth was trying to say just there.
Okay, so that's the kind of music that he makes, yes.
It's gonna be a fun clip.
Yeah, I know. He's good at that. He's good at making like bangers, things that you want to hear while you're out.
He makes music for going out.
Right. Things that you want to hear when you're in the car in the summertime, blasting music,
right.
You know, or you're on the block.
Or you just bought some new Gucci flip-flops. Isn't that the song? I just fucked your wife in some Gucci flip-flops or some shit?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Don't make me look crazy.
I don't know. I thought you just...
Scottie Pippen's wife. That's what the...
I don't want to talk about Scottie Pippen's wife.
But that's what the song is about.
I don't want to talk about Scottie Pippen's wife.
She trying to make me look bad, y'all. I got it.
Hold on. To have, because I'm not going to say things
trying to make me look bad out
sound
here. Nah, but you're trying to make me look bad on the pod. Now I gotta
want to talk about Scottie Pippen's wife.
Nah, but you try to make me look bad on the pod. You see, now I gotta take a pause and go find this thing, which is a damn shame, because you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. What are you talking about?
Right, hold on. Continue to talk about his album.
Well, Future was on the cover of GQ as well, to promote his album. Mm-hmm. Who wrote the article? Elliott Wilson.
Yep.
Elliott Wilson wrote the article.
And he's a genius for writing that article.
Right, because it was a very clickbaity title. The title was, let's get it. Future is the best rapper alive. Some people took issue with that. Do you think Future is the best rapper alive?
No.
Do you think Elliott Wilson thinks Future is the best rapper alive?
No, which is why he's a genius.
Okay. So that was the point of it. I guess we don't really, there's not
the
a whole
song
lot
is
for us
called Thought It Was a Drought by Future, and he says, quote, I just fucked your bitch in some Gucci flip-flops.
I already said that I do not want to talk about Scottie Pippen's wife. So, I'm glad we found that, and we've confirmed it, but that's really all I have to say.
Elliott Wilson is a genius.
Yeah. Very smart of him to do that. Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of talk about Future being a bigger rapper. All right, so there was a talk about verses. The verses circuit, if you will, is something that has caused a lot of conversations throughout hip hop and the R&B culture. Hip hop and R&B culture. Mm-hmm. And so people have been comparing artists and their reach and kind of like what tier they're in.
Right.
And so a lot of conversations have been coming up about JayZ battling and different people battling. And so a conversation came up about Future battling JayZ, how Future is probably one of the only people who can go up against JayZ and possibly defeat JayZ. This was one of the conversations on Twitter. It was on podcasting as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in the urban space have been discussing it. I hate that term, by the way, urban space. But anyway, a lot of people in the culture have been discussing Future. The argument is that Future is the JayZ of down south currently. And so before, where it was Lil Wayne who was compared.
Is he from Atlanta? Or is it?
You got the phone.
I mean, you said the South, so I just.
But that's what they said.
Knew.
They basically are saying that the way we worship JayZ, many people outside of the Northeast worship Future.
Do you know what Future's name is?
I have no idea. His name is not Future? No, I'm kidding. Is it Daystar?
It's better than Daystar, trust
What's
me.
his name?
It is Nevadius Damon Wilburn.
No, that's not better than Daystar. You can't put that on the shirt. I'm sorry. You could just put Daystar right here, like the Polo logo, and it sells.
Or you could put Nay, and then people just think he's saying no all the time, but it's really his name. It's a double entendre. You know, rappers like double entendres.
According to you, they like nothing entendres.
Nothing entendres. JayZ, do better.
So, people were saying, the internet was saying that the way we worship JayZ in the Northeast, many people in other parts of the country worship Future. And so clearly,
he's from Atlanta.
And so clearly, Elliott Wilson has his ear to the streets. He has his finger on the pulse, and he knew that this conversation was happening, right? And he knew that Future had an album coming out, and he knew he could get a check from GQ magazine, and he put all that shit together and was like, "Yo, Future, best rapper."
I mean, smart, super smart,
very smart. Elliott Wilson, very smart. Do I agree? Hell no.
Who do you think it is?
I don't have a straight up answer because it would take an hour to answer that question. But I think that the best rapper encompasses many different things, not just one sound of music.
So you can't just pick your favorite?
No. It's like asking what's your favorite movie. It's hard to choose one movie when you've seen like a million. Sorry.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I didn't have
Do I think Future is the best
answer.
rapper alive? No, I think there are probably a lot of people in front of him, including Drake, who just got a crazy big ass deal with Universal Music Group.
Yes.
The rumor is $400 million. It is for everything that Drake is about to do moving forward: music, merch, other ventures. There's a whole list. Y'all can look it up.
I would just like
over
$400
million. Yep.
You know what I would do?
It was confirmed on a recent phone call, a recent company call. I think it was the annual meeting or something like that. It was recently confirmed. Okay. Lucian, who anybody who knows anything about music knows, he's the big dog.
Yeah.
Apparently Lucian confirmed it, and Drake has a new deal with Universal Music Group that was signed in late 2021.
Gotcha. Okay. Good for Drake.
Yeah, I think if you're going to have a best rapper alive conversation, there are a few people in front of Future, ahead of Future, including Drake. And I'm not the biggest Drake fan. Y'all know that already.
I mean, so Drake possibly could be, the best we ever had. See what I did there? See what I did there? Anywho.
What else we got? Or you got more on Future?
I mean, that was really it. Because,
did you hear about Kendrick?
There's an update?
So on the website that these announcements have been made, I heard on another podcast, I haven't gone to check it yet, so if this is misinformation, I apologize. I'm only going off third-party information. There's a picture of Kendrick with 2 discs.
Oh, they think it's a double album?
And so one says, what's the title? Morale, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. One says Morale, the other says Big Steppers.
Okay.
And so it insinuates that this album will be some sort of double disc. If Kendrick put out a 2-disc, that's going to be nuts. And you notice this is his last album on TDE.
Really?
That was part of the announcement, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I was looking for, I guess it's not his main site.
No, there's a new website because that's his TDE site, and all announcements are coming from his new venture.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that means in 2 weeks when we return, we will probably have a lot of information because Kendrick drops next week.
Yeah. All right.
So next time we pod,
we will have a lot.
Y'all be ready.
All right. So the other couple of things.
More music?
More music. I think a couple of these we'll leave for next episode since we're already over an hour. But the last thing that we should talk about is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
The inductees are, well, I think the biggest one of note is Eminem.
Okay.
Yeah, this year's induction class was just announced. I'm gonna skip to the ones that are important to us.
Right.
So
our squad
performers: Eminem, Lionel Richie.
Okay. Wow, he wasn't there already?
No.
This is shit that confuses me. Like,
I mean, that's the only hello I
you know what I'm saying?
acknowledge, but I mean, Adele's great. I shouldn't do that.
My daughter loves that Adele shit.
Adele is dope, but you know,
Adele hello, that shit had my daughter. She couldn't even say the words hello without singing that shit.
And it's a beautiful song, but Lionel Richie was saying hello before Adele
were we even born?
I don't think we were. Probably not.
I don't think so.
So that's under the performer category.
Oh, those are the only two we got?
No, I'm just saying which category that is. Musical Excellence Award, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Okay.
Ahmet Ertegun Award. This category represents artists, musicians, songwriters, and producers whose originality and influence creating music have had a dramatic impact on music. Jimmy Iovine.
Okay.
Is on there.
He's part of our culture.
He's part of our culture. I mean, it's a name that,
it's synonymous with hip hop, yes.
Right. So those are the ones. There's more. You guys can look.
But put Jimmy Iovine and Eminem in there together. That's kind of.
That sounds like a package deal, huh?
Yeah, because come on.
I mean, I'm sure sometimes it's like that. I'm sure sometimes it is a package deal.
I mean, whatever. I'm shocked they took this long to put Eminem in there anyway, because that's their fucking savior.
Mm-hmm.
Who they're saying the new savior is just Jack Harlow.
I gotta be honest. I was scrolling on one of the socials, and I caught myself dancing to the First Class song. I didn't know what it was or who it was, and I looked. I said, "Who is this?" First, I don't even know if that's how it really goes. I just know that it makes me want to shimmy. And
he's making that futuresque music.
I mean,
and he's got all the features you want if that's the kind of music you make on this new album, which I think comes out Friday.
Okay.
Or
I mean, I might check it out.
Well, by the time y'all see this, it will have come out already. Spoiler alert, we're recording a few days early for scheduling conflicts. Mm-hmm. So in our current time, Jack Harlow hasn't come out yet. But by the time you see this, his album will be out.
Yeah. So
hear this for those not watching.
Right. I personally like to listen to a podcast, but I know a lot of people like to see the visuals. They like to be in the closet with us.
Yeah, I listen more than I watch.
I'm done with my performance piece.
And see.
So if you're not watching, you should watch because you missed the performance.
Right.
So nominees that weren't picked for induction this year, just in case we care about that. My namesake, Dionne Warwick. I was not named after Dionne Warwick.
I was about to say I have mad questions, and they may have to be off the pod.
I was not named after Dionne Warwick, and I'll tell you off the pod where my name came from. It's actually a very anticlimactic story, which is why I'm not going to say I have
mad questions.
It's going to be the most uninteresting.
Say FaceTime a family member right now off pod because I got mad questions.
It's going to be the most uninteresting story. That's the only reason I'm not going to tell it on here.
All right.
A Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, come on. They were not accepted?
They were not this year, no.
The hell?
Oh, so you can watch it?
Yeah.
I
The
didn't-
actual awards?
I didn't know you can watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be, if you guys care, it'll be on HBO and HBO Max at some point. The
HBO Max is killing them.
well, it's Warner.
It's-
It makes sense.
You're right.
It'll be in LA on November 5th at Microsoft Theater, and then they said at some point after that it will be on HBO Max, and then there's also a radio simulcast on Sirius XM's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame radio. Oh, there's a whole radio channel?
I had no idea. I haven't listened to radio since Nas said hip hop was dead.
All right.
Just saying, that's probably the same time.
I just, well, it wasn't Hope this time.
I gave
Anyway,
I gave
guys.
you 2 or 3 Nas quotes this episode.
You did. Thank you for that.
Wait, so we're not talking about Ray J?
Variety. Oh my gosh, I forgot about Ray J.
I
forgot
him
about-
earlier as a
I'm so sorry.
a little, you know.
Okay, so our last topic will be Ray J, and then the rest of the stuff that we had planned, we can push to another day. They don't need to be discussed today. They're not time sensitive. But Ray J, where do we start? Do we start from how it came about? You want me to go?
I'm kind of scared to lead this one because I'm about to go in.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but so I'll let you kind of take the reins on it, but I'll explain. I don't have a problem explaining what happened. So if you don't know, the Kardashians have a new show. Like, they left E! And said they weren't doing the show anymore, that they've been doing for a million years.
Yep.
Something like 15 seasons, maybe even more. They said they weren't doing it anymore. And then all of a sudden they were like, 2 months later, we're back!
On
Hulu. So I guess they inked a deal with Disney. They left. That's basically what happened. They left NBC Universal and went to Disney. There was a changing of the guard, if you will. And
new negotiations.
Right. I mean, and listen.
Gotta shop around.
I mean, that Hulu money gotta be long. So I'm not mad at them. But on Hulu, the show premiered a few weeks ago, and so there's been these weird clips popping up lately. I think the clips are funny. I refuse to watch the show. As a matter of fact, I wanted to include a specific part of the show for this episode, and I was gonna play it, and then I was like, "Fuck it! If I can't find the clip, I'm not pulling it off of Hulu.
The laptop?
I'm not giving it the stream.
The laptop? What, Kanye?
Oh no! Well, the dildo comment.
Keep talking.
So, I just don't want to give it the stream. I used to be very into keeping up with the Kardashians, I will admit.
Mm-hmm.
When it first started, I thought they were an interesting family. It was kind of fascinating to watch them. Mm-hmm. And then I lost interest, and for what I'm sure are obvious reasons. But anyway, so we know that Kim got her start by the release of a sex tape with her and Ray J.
Yep.
Right? That's what she was known for. And then they were able to parlay it into this reality show and these businesses and all of these things. I mean...
I got it.
Oh, you have it?
You see who's on my screen. I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
But they got it.
So, yes. So Kim ends up... So we know that this thing was orchestrated, right? I don't think anybody was ever confused about whether the sex tape was released on purpose or not. Like,
oh no, quite the contrary. This allegedly, when this sex tape first came out between Ray J and Kim Kardashian, it was a quote unquote leaked sex tape.
I always thought it was.
Remember, when we were teenagers or young people, when we were young adults, a lot of the tapes were.
About. I'm young and cute too. Young.
So when we were young adults, all those like, we're not allowed to say his name, but R blank And this tape.
And those were not sex tapes. Those were child pornography.
Okay, but at that time, these tapes were said to be sex
They were
tapes.
referred to as sex tapes.
And they were said to be like leaked tapes.
Right.
Were they available for purchase? High five, because we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Were they available for purchase? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, which is part of what we're going to talk about with this scenario.
Because this shit, the amount of money that this shit is worth is wild.
I'm telling you, I think I'm in the wrong career. So I think I found it. Let's see if this is it.
I'm going to just start stripping during the podcast and just putting up a Cash App and see what happens, because clearly...
You better do that on your podcast. I will not be a part of that. Sorry.
Because
we're cool. We ain't that cool.
Clearly, it needs to, like, if that's what you got to do to make hundreds of millions of dollars.
Can I press play now?
Yes, you can press play.
So, what do we do, Marty?
Marty, let's say it's a brand new tape that Kim doesn't even know exists.
I mean, I'm 99% sure, but the fact that these people keep saying they have a tape, what if I was sleeping and he stuck a dildo up my ass? I don't know.
Oh
like I'm saying,
I would hope you would wait.
All right.
What did Chloe say? Play that last part.
I left.
Oh my God.
Like I'm saying,
I would hope you would wake up
I
from
don't
it.
remember anything.
I was like, what is she saying? She's disgusting. All right. Maybe I shouldn't have told you. Maybe I shouldn't have told
She
you.
said, oh my God. I hope you would wake up from that.
It's not funny because what she's describing is sexual assault. What she's describing is considered rape.
Yo.
What she's describing is considered rape, and that's why she's a disgusting human. That's exactly why she's disgusting, because seriously,
she said,
what if I was asleep and he put a dildo in my ass?
Oh my God. She said, I hope you would wake up from that. You see, if we didn't name our podcast a specific way, I would so vote for I hope you would wake up from that as the title of our pod.
Kim, you can't say shit like that. You cannot say shit like that and think that no one will say anything. And honestly, they're so... Well, this is a new production team and everything, because I was going to argue the fact that they could have told production, hey, you know what? That conversation we had,
they can still do that.
Can we
Let's
edit
be
that
honest.
out?
Let's be honest. That was in the negotiations, and let's keep it real.
That should have never made it to air. That should have never seen the light of day. She knew that was an untruth. She knew that is not a funny joke to make. That is assault. It's not an okay joke to make. I know what Chloe said is funny.
I'm laughing at Chloe.
I know you're laughing at Chloe.
Or whoever responded. Because
it was Chloe. I know you're laughing at Chloe. I know you're not laughing at that, but it's gross. It's gross, and I don't give a fuck who you are. Kim Kardashian, anybody. It's just not okay. We can't, in this day and age especially, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. And then what happens to that man that you're talking about?
And so the man
he's a public figure,
is
Ray J. What happens to him when you say shit like that?
And so that's what this conversation is about. So apparently on the show, the Ray J and
Nah, I'm just saying she pissed me off.
Oh. I didn't listen. I don't want to step on whatever point you're making. I wait my turn.
I'm just pissed at Kim Kardashian for this shit. This really, it upset me.
So on the show, apparently, clips have been circulating, as Dee said, and some of the clips are surrounding the Ray J and Kim Kardashian sex tape from 20 years ago, or however many years ago. If we use 2007, I guess not 20, but whatever.
It's not 15 years ago.
Wait, but then the timeline is wrong. In his interview, he said they were 21 when they did it, and they're 41. Oh, but that don't mean it was released when they did it. All right, whatever. Back to the story.
You can make a tape today and put it out 5 years from now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So clips have been circulating surrounding the Ray J and Kim Kardashian sex tape from eons ago. And so there's one clip circulating, which you just heard or saw if you're watching, and which they said there's allegedly more sex tapes that Ray J's team is threatening to release. And she's saying she doesn't know what's in the sex tape or what's in the video. She's unaware. And then there's another clip circulating where Kanye allegedly comes and gives Kim a gift.
Oh no, it's not alleged. It happened. I saw it. I saw the clip.
Okay, well, he gives Kim a gift, and Kim says in tears that Kanye went and met with Ray J and got the rest of the sex tapes and is giving it back to Kim as a gift. And so
this whole scene, first of all, it looked I felt Kanye looked nuts. Is anyone surprised by that? Probably not. But I felt Kanye look. I said, what in the world is going on here? He comes in like super quiet with the briefcase or whatever it is, and he's like, it's just the most.
I didn't see the clip. I just
It was the most bizarre scene. Like when this video gets edited, we need to edit in him carrying the laptop in, because it was just a wild. When I say wild, I'm exaggerating, because they were in a room, I don't know, in somebody's house or whatever, and he comes in with it. It's not that dramatic at all, but it's dramatic in the sense that he walks in and he's like super quiet about it, and he's like,
okay.
It's like,
I haven't seen it, so I can't.
And I think because of what we know about Kim and Kanye over the past year or so, it's just like, what in the world is going on here? Honestly, this is probably the best thing he could have done if it were real. The best thing he could have done outside of, like, you know, buying the home across from hers, or, you know, showing up to places where she was, or lying about not being able to see his children. This is probably the best. You laughing at Chloe. This I found amusing. You got to go find the clip and watch it.
So Kanye gives Kim this box. She says that it is the remaining sex tapes and footage, and she is elated. And she is crying, happy.
It's just so silly. I'm sorry.
I'm just telling them what the clip is.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the scene. Sorry. Okay.
And so Ray J tweeted and was like, "This is bullshit. This is completely untrue."
Right.
And so that pretty much went viral.
Mm-hmm. And at the time, we didn't know that it appeared that he was saying that Kanye was being dishonest about what it was.
Right.
We would later find out.
So now, Ray J has done an interview with Daily Mail, and Ray J is pissed off. And Ray J has now stated that when this all happened, brace yourself, because this shit about to get real nasty real quick. Okay? This is what Ray J said. I ain't make this shit up.
0 to 100.
All right. So Ray J says when they were 21, they did this sex tape and they signed a contract. Who is they? Well, I'll answer that question. They is Ray J, Kim Kardashian, and Kris Jenner.
The mama.
Kris Jenner. The three of them signed the contract in which they gave video, the three of them signed a contract, he says, to then do a deal with an entertainment company to release 3 videos in which he cites locations and times. And he says the video that we've all seen, or most of us have seen, because you say you ain't seen it.
I have not seen it.
The video that made Kim Kardashian famous, let's call a spade, was shot in Cabo and was supposed to be one of the three. He says that it was supposed to be the one that we've all seen, another video that was the quote-unquote intro to that one, and then a third video that was at some point supposed to be filmed.
Was it under a palm tree?
Nah, they're in a hotel. And it's early 2000s, so the footage is not in 4K. And so,
Okay.
I'm just saying, because if you watch it right now, like if we pull it up
I
and
don't
you
want to
watch
see
it,
it.
I mean, you might. Anyway, so anyway, I'm not going to talk about tape right now. So he says it was a contract, and because he was binded to a contract, he's never publicly stated anything.
Mhm.
But ever since this came out, it was stated that he leaked the tapes. It was stated that he has more tapes, and in this show, they're saying he has more things. He's saying this is untrue. Since signing the contract, he never had any of the footage. He's never had it to watch or enjoy. That's a quote from the article. I didn't make that up. He says
I mean,
Kim
that's what some
Kardashian.
normal people do with sex tapes. They just watch and enjoy it and move on with their lives.
Right. He says Kim Kardashian has always had all of the footage, and quote, she had it in a Nike box under her bed. That's a quote from Ray J, not from me. And so Ray J is being asked why after all this time. He says because they're ODing. He is a father, and he wants to make sure that people know, and really his kids know, that he's not a piece of shit. And he's fed up because they have not let this go. They continue to use it to amplify the amount of attention that they get and amplify this narrative that they've created of him as a bad guy. And so Ray J is upset, and he says he's had enough, and he is bringing things to light. And so there is much, much more in the article. He says they did it when they were 21. They are now 41, 20 years ago. And he said for many years he feared that he would be in trouble in some kind of way because he signed these contracts. And he did so without any legal advisement. Kris Jenner, you's a nasty motherfucker for that. Because you know that kid, what you did with your daughter is a whole other topic. But you knew that kid who was 21 did not know what the fuck he was doing. And you knew you were taking advantage of that kid. Especially you of all people knew that him doing something without legal representation is shady shit.
Not only that, I'm sure she knew, because I think this one is obvious, is that he is connected to a very important family. Brandy is his sister. Brandy is a huge artist.
And 20 years ago?
20 years ago, Brandy was the huge artist. And it wouldn't have been in his favor for something like that to get out. And Kris Jenner is a smart woman, if nothing else. And she knew that. She knew that she could prey on that. And I mean, because I can't imagine if Brandy and Ray J's mom, who was Brandy's manager for a million years, I don't know if she still is, but I can't imagine that if she knew about it, that this would have went down the way it did. I think that there would have been a lot more going on there. But yeah. I mean, he's connected to one of the biggest artists at that time, and I don't know. It just kind of sucks.
And so Ray J also leaked DMs.
Ooh, the DMs.
And so this has I found it.
Because you know it goes down.
It goes down in
the DMs.
Absolutely. And so, sorry, I'm pulling up the Daily Mail article so I can read y'all the DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to properly report. Oh, so it's already right here. The 3 videos were supposed to be, so it says here, but while Kim claims she didn't want to do it, Ray J says now the 41-year-old embraced the idea and enlisted her mother, Kris Jenner, to organize the video's release via Vivid Entertainment, a process he had little to do with. Just to recap what I said earlier. And now, let's get to the DMs. Ray J texts Kim Kardashian, why are you playing games, Ken? I've been nothing but a team player. We all had an agreement. Now you are trying to drag my name for your new show, and that ain't cool. It'll blank up my business and relationships where I sat down with blank blank and your mom, and we planned all of this together. Now you're really taking You're really taking this lie to the next level, making me look crazy. I don't want to expose the real blank that we did, but you are leaving me no choice. Kanye said, oh, it's a typo. He said, Kanye said, he said you wanted the footage, and I gave him all of the videos and pics and texts from me and you because I was trying to make things okay. All right, next screenshot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I realize this is another promo stunt for you. Unless you reach out to me soon, I'm going to take this to the level where it shows all of what we did. All of the meetings and convos about the plan, dates and times of our meetings, and the whole lie you and Chris planned since the beginning. This is not a threat. You've taken this too far. You know what we did. Your mom controlled this whole sex tape deal with blank, and it was her idea to put out the... Next screenshot. Oh, they didn't do a good job with the screenshot. Okay, it says agree.
Yeah, it looks like that's a separate. Because now you want to make it seem like I'm doing it again.
Yeah, but there's a piece missing.
Yeah, there's.
All right, there's a piece missing, but it says now you want to make it seem like I'm doing it again without your control. All these fake tears. Your fans trusting you and to be honest and sincere. Your fans trusting you to be honest and sincere, but it's all fake for the cameras. I was playing my part until you started doing all of this. Why are you trying to ruin me when you know I was just a player in this? You have to stop believing your own lies. I have to let the world know the real because you have taken it too far. Blank, somebody needs to explain the play you are doing to me ASAP, or I will have no choice but to protect my brand and my family and expose the real. I know how promo goes, and I get it 100%, but it's got out of control, and this is a new story, and my team is on my head thinking it's true. Me sticking a dildo in your while you were sleeping is pretty out of control. LOL, wouldn't you wake up if you felt that in your butt? ? I would hope so, Kimmy. It could never be...
I'm calling her Kimmy.
It could never be that loose and open. LOL, just kidding. But seriously, it makes me look like a rapist and a dirty perv, and I'm catching a lot of slack from it. That's why I hit you like this. Out of all of these years since the tape, we've been able to build brands and make a lot of money. You already got to the billies. Okay, that's kind of funny.
He means billions.
Please help me stay in a positive light, and I want my kids to be proud of me. They are 3 and 2 years old. They are innocent. Please don't make their dad look like a loser when you know me more. It's Ray J. In case you don't know who this is, it's Ray J. And
Not
so
after all that being like, oh, by the way, it's me.
And so Kim responds. It has Kim Kardashian, the verified check, etc. And so she says, oh, when was his message? Did we see the date? Sadly, no. So she responds, April 14th at 7:56 p.m. Hi. Sorry, I'm only seeing your above DMs now. I am happy to hear that you're doing well.
Bitch.
I am happy to hear that you're doing well, and congrats on your beautiful family. In regards to your last message, did you actually watch the episode? Because I didn't say a single bad thing about you.
She got the nerve to ask this man if he watched it. That's why I'm not giving her a stream. And I know my stream doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
The show filmed in real time the day in hell that I had with my lawyers when your manager threatened to release another tape that doesn't exist. And my son, who was 5 years old at the time, seeing an ad with my cry face emoji that said, quote, Kim's new sex tape as clickbait in Roblox.
I've seen that scene and it's hilarious.
It was upsetting. It was upsetting to have to deal with, and I am sure, sorry, new screenshot, and I am sure you can understand also how that feels. If you're upset about the dildo comment, it was clearly a sarcastic joke, and I was laughing when I said it.
Said a white woman.
My burn them to the ground comment was a generalization to anyone threatening to hold this over my head 20 years later. We are both parents now with young kids and careers, and I'm sure you want to move on from this just like I do. But your manager is the person who brought this all up out of nowhere, and I have a right to share how it affected me. next week's episode airs, where Kanye brings me the computer and says he got back from you. Oh, okay, I read it right. Which shows you in a positive light for giving that to him. Thank you for doing that. And so it continues, y'all. I'll put it on the screen, but there's a lot more. And Kim is basically saying, like, I'm sorry, but it really is that she's not sorry. And so I just wanted to read some of that to y'all.
I mean, she said that the dildo thing was sarcastic. My thing is, I don't give a fuck if it was sarcastic. It's damaging.
Yeah, and Ray J is saying he never had anything. He's saying the actual sex tapes she always had. He's saying he had pictures and very short clips of things that they filmed that were not part of that deal.
I mean, I don't.
And that he did meet with Kanye, and that's what he gave him a laptop of. And he says there are dates and emails of correspondence with both Chris and Kim.
We gotta get these men from under the thumb of the Kardashians.
I'm still stuck on her mom being part of it. Like,
well, that's why I was saying what I was saying earlier. I feel like people always felt that Chris was a part of it, and Chris has been orchestrating everything from the very beginning.
That's crazy.
So to me, that part wasn't shocking. That was the part where I was like, oh well. I mean, people always talk about how Chris is a genius at what she's done with her kids, especially Kim, because Kim was her cash cow.
Clearly.
Yeah, and even again, I used to watch the show a while back, and even watching the show, even Chloe used to be like, hello, what about me? Are you not my manager too? Because she would make sure that Kim's stuff was just so and in order, and Kim was getting jobs, and Kim was doing this, and Kim has always been her cash cow. So, well, not shocking at all.
To support that statement, the article, which I should have said when I was reading it, at the end of the article, it states that the Kim and Ray J sex tape is estimated to have grossed over $100 million today.
Which is why I'm like, should I just,
Over $100 million.
It's crazy. It's wild. Crazy. That's all I have to say.
I'm about to just start brand flipping. Let's have a real sex tape.
No. What?
Yo.
I don't approve this message. Well, that was our episode of Let's Have a Real Conversation.
So we have to tell y'all, we told you 2 weeks ago we would start posting some stuff on our TikTok and Instagram. And today, well, by the time you see this, a couple days ago, we started posting. So we've begun to post some of our ultimatum show reactions.
Yes, our
reactions. And so we'll be sharing more of our personal and group thoughts about that and other things. So if you're not already following us on TikTok and Instagram, please do so. It is LHRCPOD, and you'll see some stuff there that will not be on here.
Yes.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. See y'all in 2 weeks.